We will now call the business session of November 19th, 2024 to order at 6:03 p.m. All council members are present here tonight. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item of business tonight is to consider the minutes of November 5th, 2024, the meeting then, the regular session city council meeting. These minutes were provided in your meeting packet. Are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, the minutes stand as approved as submitted. The next item is public hearing, 2024-923. Director Clint Peters, please.
Members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the city of Waco, Texas, adding the honorary name of Pet Circle Road to a portion of Circle Road in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas. From the Circle Road intersection with LaSalle Avenue at the circle to the intersection with the northbound Jack Colgan Expressway. Authorizing changing the city plan to include the honorary name, authorizing change to the city of Waco maps, providing for additional street signs, providing severability clause, and finally determining that the meeting in which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 7-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the name change as proposed.
Are there any questions for staff? I'll now open a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone present who'd like to speak regarding this item? Seeing no speakers, we will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just excited for the new animal shelter, or the existing animal shelter under the new name, and honoring the work that's being done there and the really dedicated staff and volunteers on site.
Any further discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Ewing.
Yes.
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 Holmes.
That motion passes. The next item to consider is public hearing 2024-924. Director Peters.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the city of Waco, Texas, amending the concept plan for the plan unit development known as the Callan Village Plan Unit Development. To, number one, reconfigure and reduce the amount of multifamily land use area in the PUD from approximately 8.62 acres to 5.92 acres. Multifamily property to be relocated between the commercial and single-family land use areas. Two, to reconfigure and increase the amount of commercial land use area in the PUD from approximately 4.68 acres to 6.4 acres of commercial property to be relocated adjacent to Ritchie Road. And three, to revise the PUD concept plan narrative to account for the changes in the commercial and multifamily use areas and provide clarity on the permitted commercial uses on land between Ritchie Road and the residential portion of the Callan Village PUD. Being property located at the northwest side of the intersection of Ritchie Road and Callan Boulevard and described as approximately 151.173 acre tract, more or less, located in the El Marbla Survey Abstract 580 in the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, by approving the amended concept plan for the PUD, providing for penalties, providing a saving clause, and finally determining that the meeting in which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 5-2, Plan Commission recommended approval of the amendment based on the following findings and condition. One, the proposed reconfiguration of multifamily and commercial land use components within the PUD creates a more harmonious relationship with the adjacent single-family residential area. By placing the multifamily land use between commercial and single-family land use, the new configuration provides a buffer that reduces potential for negative impacts such as noise, traffic, and other disruptions that may arise from having commercial areas adjacent to single-family homes. Two, the proposed concept PUD plan amendment is consistent with the land use component of the comprehensive plan, the purposes of Chapter 28, zoning of the Code of Ordinances, and the plan unit development regulations. We do have some conditions. One, the final PUD plan must meet all development standards consistent with the amended concept PUD plan and the site requirements of the Plan Review Committee, including but not limited to the following: site grading, drainage, signage regulations, parking, site coverage, access and circulation, landscape, refuse location and access, and fire protection location and access. and the property shall be platted in accordance with subdivision ordinance prior to issuance of the building permit. I did want to dive a little deeper on this one so you can see it on the map. So this is the original concept plan that was approved in 2018 before the subdivision developed. You can see that the yellow area is the bulk of the subdivision, which is single family. They're actually had just submitted their phase 4 of that, so it is developing out. And then along Ritchie Road, which is on the right side of the map, you see that dark blue area, which was designated for multifamily, which is on the upper side of the main road in the Callan Village. And then the red area is commercial and office. So this was what approved, and then this is what they're wanting to change. So they're actually just wanting to reconfigure it where the multifamily is between the commercial and then the single family area. So that's what this amendment does, and it does reduce the multifamily by about 2.7 acres, and then increases the commercial by about 1.8 acres. And then that third item in the narrative of the PUD, it talks about the commercial uses that are allowed in that area. You see at the end of that, that last sentence, it talks about usage within the commercial area will include light commercial, service type establishments, such as coffee shop, restaurant, cleaners, etc. Small retail, and so we did request the applicant to provide more detail what small retail is, because in the initial PUD, there wasn't a lot of definition to that. So that's the amendment that's before you tonight, is to have that 15,000 square foot maximum per store or single use tenant added to the narratives that directs us more when the final PUDs come into for application. And then convenience store and office space. So these uses are already in the existing PUD. We just ask for a little bit more clarity, and be happy to answer any other questions you have on that request.
Any questions for staff? One question I had, and it has to do, all that we would be approving or disapproving tonight is just the we're not, the land use or the zoning, right?
Just the land use, what's allowed in those land use areas for the commercial. You're just basically reconfiguring what's already been approved.
Right, and so we're not doing, this would still have to undergo some review as to final PUD.
Yeah, so this is the
How it's all
concept.
laid out.
Yes, sir. So if this is approved, before any of that area can develop, you'll get a final, to look at the final PUD applications, which will be site-specific.
Site-specific and
development.
road-specific, and
That's
at
correct.
that point, if somebody doesn't like the way the road goes in there, we can, and this council or citizens or whatever, and say, we don't like that, and,
That's correct.
okay. Any other questions for staff? I will now open a public hearing for comments. Is anyone, I don't have any cards here for this item, but is anyone present who'd like to speak regarding the item? Please state your name and address for the record. And you have 3 minutes.
I will not take up that long. Ryan Lindsay's out of town, and I must be one of the guys that he knows well that lives closest by, and he had me to come and just answer some of the questions that council might have on this. Like Clint said, I think this is kind of more of a appropriate rezone utilization of land uses by trying to pull the commercial up on Ritchie and buffer the neighborhood with multifamily. It will reduce the amount of multifamily that's available, and I think that this will be a good, more appropriate land use plan for this site. So, any questions?
No,
Great to see y'all, and I love this table in the back. It looks very good. Great capital investment.
everything looks better now.
Hey, man, he's like, you gonna take it up?
Shots fired.
Thank you, former mayor.
Anyone else present who'd like to speak regarding this item? Okay, thank you, Mayor Meek. Seeing no speakers, we'll close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion?
I will move for approval on first reading.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield. Rodriguez. Ewing.
Yes.
Borderoot.
Yes.
Chase.
Yes.
Holmes.
That motion passes. The next item to consider is public hearing 2024-925. Director Peters.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the City of Waco providing that the Code of Ordinances be amended by revising Section 28-247 and Chapter 28 zoning of the code, providing that the zoning map shall be changed so that certain properties described as lots A5, 4, and 3, Block 6, and lots 3, 4, 5, 6A, 10A, and 12, Block 3, the Witt Addition, known as 605, 606, 608, 609, 611, and 620 Hatton Street, and 607, 609, and 617 Lottie Street shall be changed from C3 district classification and be designated into R2 district classification, providing for penalties, providing a saving clause, providing a severability clause, and a finding determined at the meeting in which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 7-2, Plan Commission recommended approval of zone change based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in conformance with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. 2, the proposed rezoning is consistent with the Waco Strategic Housing Plan by increasing the availability of residentially zoned lots that provide better development opportunities to address the need for new housing. 3, the properties meet all the area and width requirements for R2 zoning. 4, the existing public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in R2 zoning. And 5, the R2 zoning is the dominant residential zoning in the area.
Any questions for staff? I'll now open a public hearing for comments. Anyone present who'd like to speak regarding this item? Seeing no speakers, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Secretary Hicks, please poll the council.
Bearfield.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Ewing.
Yes.
Borderoot.
Yes.
Chase.
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye, that motion passes. Next item to consider is public hearing 2024-926. Director Peters.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing that the Code of Ordinances be amended by revising Section 28-247 and Chapter 28 zoning of the code, providing that the zoning map shall be changed so that certain properties described as Lot 2, Block 23 of the Chamberlain and Taylor Edition, known as 1304 North 6th Street, and Lot 2, Block 5, the Dewey Edition, Part 8, known as 1300 North 6th Street, shall be changed from C2 and C3 district classification and be designated in the R2 district classification, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, and finding determined at the meeting which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote 7-0, Plan Commission did recommend approval of zone change based on the following findings. Proposed zoning is in conformance with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. The proposed zoning is consistent with the Waco Strategic Housing Plan by increasing the availability of residentially zoned lots that provides better development opportunities to address the need for new housing. The properties meet all the area and width requirements for R2 zoning. Existing infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in R2 zoning, and that the R2 zoning is in the vicinity of the subject properties.
Thanks, Director Peters. Are there any questions for staff?
Yeah, Clint, was this a previous rezone to get it to C2 and C3 on those two lots? I feel like that sticks out like a sore thumb there.
Yeah, they date back pretty far.
Yeah.
Probably to the 70s.
Okay.
They've been rezoned, or commercially zoned there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there used to be some commercial uses a long time ago, but yeah, it does stick out and needs to be changed.
Great. That's all. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? I'll now open a public hearing for comments. No cards were received, but is there anyone present who'd like to speak on this item? Seeing no speakers, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item?
I just appreciate the city of Waco for following its own processes and applying for a zoning change.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's good government.
Secretary Hicks, please poll the council.
Bearfield. Yes. Rodriguez.
Aye.
Ewing.
Yes.
Borderoot. Yes. Chase. Yes. Holmes.
Aye, that motion passes. The next item to consider is the consent agenda. The following resolutions were pulled from the consent agenda and will be voted on separately. That's resolutions 2024-939 and resolution 2024-943, starting with 939. Is there a motion on resolution 2024-939?
Yes, Mayor. I move that the city of Waco, by a record vote, authorize the acquisition, including the use of power of eminent domain if the city's offer and/or negotiations are unsuccessful, of a 0.056 acre permanent pedestrian access and utility easement located across a portion of 5535 Spiegelville Road, Woodway, Texas, and being further described as being situated in Lot 2, Block 1, Bridgewood addition to the city of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, according to the plat thereof recorded in McLennan County Clerk's document 2014034253 of the official public records of McLennan County, Texas, said acquisition being necessary for the public use for the expansion and widening of Spiegelville Road as part of the Spiegelville Road Improvement Project.
Second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this resolution? No discussion. City Secretary Hicks, please poll the council.
Bearfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Ewing,
Yes.
Borderood,
Yes.
Chase. Yes. Holmes.
Aye, that motion passes. The next item we consider is Resolution 2024-943. Is there a motion on Resolution 2024-943?
Yes, Mayor, I've got the special language on this one, too. I move that the city of Waco, by one record vote applying to all units of property to be condemned, authorize the acquisition, including the use of power of eminent domain, if such becomes necessary, to acquire perpetual water pipeline easements and temporary construction and access easements against all owners and/or lien interest holders of A, 2.473 acres out of Lot 16-3 and 4, Block R, Richland Hills Addition, Part 7, as recorded in deeds to CBL/Richland Mall LP, which is now merged into CBL RM-Waco LLC, Dillard's Properties Incorporated, tenant Dillard Texas Central LLC, Dillard Texas Central LLC, and 1.922 acres of temporary easements on said lots, all being located at 6001 West Waco Drive in McLennan County, Texas, and B, 0.478 acres out of Lot 1, Block 3 of the Schroeder Industrial Edition as recorded in the deed to Shelton Spanos Warehouse Limited, located at 5546 Franklin Avenue in McLennan County, Texas. Said acquisitions all being the purpose of placing, constructing, reconstructing, operating, repairing, inspecting, maintaining, rebuilding, replacing, relocating, and removing water pipelines and all related appurtenances and facilities needed for the improvement of the municipal water collection system, including the system improvement of the city of Waco for the completion of the second phase of the American Plaza to Exchange Parkway Waterline Project.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that resolution? Hearing no discussion, Secretary Hicks, please poll the council.
Bearfield, Rodriguez, Ewing,
Yes.
Borderood,
Yes.
Chase.
Yes.
Holmes.
That motion passes. The next item to consider is the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of Resolution 2024-927 through 2024-943, except for the resolutions we just heard, 939 and 943. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Oh, I will second.
We have a motion and a second.
I just wanted to
Any
get it over with.
discussion? We have no discussion on this resolution. Secretary Hicks, please poll the council.
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Ewing. Yes. Borderood. Yes. Chase. Yes. Holmes.
Aye, that motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the hearing of visitors, and we have 3 cards tonight. During the hearing of visitors section of this agenda, we provide an opportunity for the public to present concerns or address issues that are not matters for consideration listed on the agenda. The council is unable to conduct a discussion, but will listen. We'll ask staff to look into concerns and provide follow-up. Please provide registration information so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation, and staff will distribute those to the council. If you're unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. And again, we have 3 cards here tonight. When called to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. Each speaker must limit comments to 3 minutes. If you are speaking on behalf of a group of 10 or more individuals present, please have those persons stand at the beginning of your comments. You'll be given 10 minutes to address the council. Please note that if you stand in support of a person getting 10 minutes to speak, you're forfeiting your right to speak on that item. For any person addressing the council through the use of a translator, the speaking time will be doubled to accommodate the translation services. While public discourse is very important to the council, we have to maintain order in the meetings so that all persons may be heard and city business may be conducted. If so directed by me, the Sergeant at Arms, shall remove from the council meeting any person who, while addressing the city council or while attending the city council meeting, makes personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, becomes boisterous, or makes unauthorized remarks from the audience, claps hands, stomps feet, whistles, yells, or makes similar demonstrations. So again, we have 3 cards tonight. Our first card is from Mr. Ephraim Herring. Ephraim, come on up, and when you get to the podium, please state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Guess I got my handouts, huh?
Did you have handouts, Ephraim?
Yeah, I got 10 of them right here. You told me I was supposed to bring 10 handouts, so. I got 10 of them. In the book, but, my name is Ephraim Herring. I live at 1044 Chestnut, and I'm in here talking about 1046 Chestnut, and, which is right now, it's been almost 7 years where it has not been able to use it. 2,667 days. Wow. I was going through, I got a letter from the city saying that I need to get a attorney to obtain a copy of certificate of occupancy, which I know that, it's kind of funny because then I went online and said that the city of Waco do not maintain records of certificate of occupancy. I thought that was strange because you look at all the contracts being written by contractors, they have certificate of occupancy as one of the primary instruments used to pay off the contractor. So, me, and I got time on my hands since I can't make no money off of 1046 Chestnut, and I'm still paying my taxes. I had to pay them the other day too. They was almost $3 grand. Well, they were $3 grand and over. I pick up enough cans, pick up that, pay for that. But my question came out, then it said on there, I got to talk to your inspection department. They said they leave it at the site. It's kind of strange because I was at the site, nothing got left. So my question is, and I'm looking on the internet, it says you do not maintain copy of a instrument that's extremely important in negotiations and contract between the contractor and the property owner. So I went through your files. It says the building official should maintain records in which he should record all permits and certificates issued by him and all enforcement action taken by him in the administration of this chapter. All applications for building permits shall accompanied by 3 sets of plans drawn to scale, showing the actual dimension of the lot being built, the size of the building being erected, the use of the property, and such of other information as may be necessary to provide for the enforcement of this chapter. A careful record of such applications and plots should be kept in the office of the building officials. So this is what got me here. It said, a record of all certificate of occupancy shall be kept on file in the office of the building official, and copies shall be furnished on the request to any person having a property or tenancy interest in the building affected. 1046 Chestnut, that's my building. I paid the contract $109,000. Can't get a certificate of occupancy. And what really shocked me about this was, this started in 2017. The building official worked for y'all then. 2018, the building official worked for you then. Had a meeting in 2018 where the building official said, right there next to me. So now, my question is, and I've been asking this again, where did that document come up from that was sent to American Bank that got hadn't finished out $109,000 in my account? Because here's the problem we got, see. I was not using that bank. I'm going to use federal funds because I'm a veteran. So we get little things on the side that, because of what I did service was, they had almost a 0% interest rate. So I bought that thinking I was going to flip it over, but when they asked me, hey man, go down to the city and get a certified copy of that certificate of occupancy so we can get your money to you, that's what I asked for. Still ain't got it. And it's done there, say, oh, by the way, they told me I had to hire a lawyer. I hired a lawyer last year. They gave me the runaround for almost 8 months. And I mean, but I gotta tell the lawyer, I gotta think because
Thank you,
most
Mr.
lawyers
Chair.
don't tell you that. God bless you. You have a safe trip.
Thank you, Mr. Herring. Next up is Dr. Northcutt, Alan Northcutt.
Alan Northcutt, and you do have a handout. A flurry of climate reports have just been released. Global CO2 emissions continue to rise in 2023, the most recent date monitored. And it is projected that we will blast through the 1.5 and 2.0 C Paris goals, reaching a catastrophic 2.7 C above pre-industrial in 2100. UN Secretary Antonio Guterres warned at this current COP meeting, quote, "The sound you hear is the ticking clock. We are in the final countdown to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius, and time is not on our side," close quotes. Now, to compound this bad news, the incoming administration has pledged to destroy incentives for the green economy while taking us backward toward the fossil fuel world. So therefore, it is even more critical that states and cities, including Waco, do all they can to slash greenhouse gas emissions. Specifically, at the last meeting, which was on the day for voting, the EPA Community Change Grant addressed the Creekside Community Village with some admirable features like solar and batteries. But in the document, there was no statement that the homes would be all electric. Now, to reduce emissions and to ensure that these homeless people are not breathing toxic gases from natural gas appliances, these have to be all electric. And hopefully that can still be accomplished. Further, to make these homes compatible with the future, EV-ready parking spaces must be constructed. Also, there's, in that grant, there are statements about outreach concerning healthy eating. Now, in 2024, we know that that includes reducing meat and dairy intake, and those are powerful ways that individuals can decrease their emissions and improve health, and certainly dietitians can help with that on this grant. Now, concerning the Waco Fleet Report, today I have a couple of caveats. The 3.2% EVs in 2024 is still small. Considering Norway, 90% of new cars purchased now are full electric. The city of Waco has, the city of Austin has 6.7% EVs, about twice what we have. There are statements about power availability and infrastructure. They sound very ominous, but charging just requires a 220-volt outlet and an inexpensive charger for the vast majority of full electrics. There's also something in there about EV electricity usage monitoring. Also sounds ominous. But remember, in the state of Texas, fueling with electricity costs about half that of fueling with gas or diesel. Finally, there's a requirement there about it being available in Waco. Well, I feel fairly certain that there are numerous vehicle brands like garbage trucks, tractors, and so forth that don't have facilities in Waco. So I think that's a bogus requirement.
Thank you, Dr. Northcutt. Thanks, Dr. Northcutt. Appreciate you. We have one more card from a Mr. Pete Thorson. Is there a Pete out here? Pete must be gone. Pete is not here. Is there anyone else present who'd like to speak during the hearing of visitors? We've got one right here. Come on up. Come up when you get to the podium. Please state your name and address for the record, and you will be given 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Heaven Diaz. I live at 3528 Daughtry Avenue. And I just had a question. I was just reading along here, and I guess in the work session, I was just wondering what do y'all have planned for the redevelopment project and I guess public outreach? I was just kind of curious what were the next steps and what were y'all planning to, I don't know, how to reach to the public, what the plans are. So that was my main question for y'all today.
Okay, thank you. We'll have staff reach out to you, and Deputy City Manager Emerson? Oh, yeah, we can't respond, but we'll smother you with information. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Mayor, I'm wondering if staff could send her the PDF of the presentation that we got.
Yeah.
Is that, you think that's possible?
We'll get, and we have a
Public
lot of
record.
hearings
We will
going
have
on.
someone reach out to her.
Yep. Okay, anybody else who'd like to speak of the hearing of visitors tonight? Seeing no one, we will now close the hearing of visitors. We'll go on to council comments on items of community interest. This is an opportunity for council to express any congratulations, acknowledgements, or recognitions. Any announcements, guys?
Mayor, just briefly wanted to give big shout outs to my fellow council members, Alice Rodriguez and Darius Ewing. We had a good time at the Veterans Day Parade. Thank you all for coming. My mother joined us, so we had a good time there. We were also joined by members of the Veterans Advisory Board, including Steve Hernandez and Melinda Bonds of BHN. Steve Hernandez is our county's Veteran Service Officer, helping us give out the candy, and also that was part of the group that put the banners up from 3rd Street to roughly about 4th Street on Austin, which was a nice touch this year. So appreciate all the good work, Ashley Nystrom and others getting that going.
Mayor, council members, I just wanted to mention that this weekend we will be celebrating our former city secretary, Miss Patricia Irvin's 70th birthday, and she is in her golden blaze of glory. So we're celebrating her birthday and recognizing her for all the years she served the city of Waco and came back out of retirement a couple of 2-3 times. So just showing her love this weekend and celebrating her. Also, I'm glad to say that I was reappointed for a second term on the board of NLC. So, all right.
Fantastic, congratulations. And we've got an event is that next week?
Yeah, the National League of Cities, the Roy's group is coming for our site visit. We received a technical assistance grant. Well, we received a couple, but the team for the Opportunity Youth will be here next week to do a site visit. So we're really excited for our community partners and the team from the National League of Cities to really get to work on our processes and engaging our gap for 16 to 24-year-olds.
Fantastic. Any other items of community interest over here? No. The last item here is council reports and requests for scheduling future agenda items. Are there any council comments or any council requests for future agenda items? Don't have any? There being no further business, the meeting is adjourned at 6:36 p.m.